Yeah, so this movie was released in February, and I'm only just getting to it now. You can say I'm really falling behind. Well, I tried. Standing Up, Falling Down stars Ben Schwartz as a stand-up comedian named Scott, whose career can't get off the ground, forcing him to move back in with his parents. Now in his hometown, he meets Marty, played by Billy Crystal, a dermatologist who's friendly and charismatic, but also an alcoholic with a tragic family history. The two begin to bond over their troubled experiences, and an unlikely friendship forms as the two try to regain control of their lives. It's good to see Billy Crystal in a lead role again. I know he's done some TV work here and there, including a show with Josh Gad that only lasted one season, but the last time he led a movie was Monsters University in 2013. There's no denying the man's got a great sense of comedic timing, even if the movie itself isn't all that great. He's always very charismatic and has a joke lined up ready to go. And we get a lot of that same energy from him here. He essentially plays a version of every other character he has played in movies before with some slight variations, which isn't always a bad thing. It works here. And while I always appreciate actors stepping out of their comfort zone, if they also have a style that regularly works, I'm fine with that too. About a good chunk of his dialogue consists of his well-timed quips, and nearly all his exchanges are rapid-fire back and forths, mainly with Ben Schwartz. The only major difference between Marty and most of his other characters is that he's much more flawed, and can be a bit of a mess. He spends a lot of his time at the bar, he makes phone calls and no one ever picks up for him, so he's lonely. He doesn't have many close relationships anymore. It's slightly out of his comfort zone, but only by so much. His general personality remains mostly the same. Ben Schwartz also does a solid job here. He's someone who I hope takes on more lead roles in movies. I thought he was one of the best parts of Sonic the Hedgehog, and I always enjoyed his TV work as well. He has a lot of that same rapid-fire timing that Crystal has, so they felt very natural working together. He too always had a joke ready to go, and he'd answer everything with a quip or a playful insult. Both actors were quite funny, both on their own and especially when they were together. They were full of energy, easily likable, hit all the right emotional beats. It made for a very relaxed, feel-good vibe, and made this movie a decent watch. That being said, all the joking around, ironically, ends up being one of this movie's biggest flaws. I'd classify this as a very slice-of-life sort of movie. While there is a story, it's not like the movie focuses all of its time, or really most of its time, on characters working towards a specific set of goals. Instead, we get scene after scene of characters just hanging out and joking around. Like, literally, there'll be 3 scenes in a row where all the dialogue is just small talk or characters riffing on something else or each other. Ben Schwartz and his sister playfully insult each other in one scene, then the next scene Billy Crystal and Ben Schwartz are at the bar joking around about music, then it cuts back to Ben Schwartz's house or Billy Crystal's house and they're joking around about something else. But you can cut out most of what's said in these scenes outside of maybe 1 or 2 lines of dialogue and it doesn't affect the story at all. Honestly, you may have been able to tell this whole thing in like 45 minutes, an hour tops. And when this movie does focus on story, it hits a lot of familiar beats. Billy Crystal has an estranged relationship with his son and he's trying to reconnect. Ben Schwartz spends part of the movie contemplating what he's going to do with his life. Plus, he's dealing with an old flame himself. You'll have these overly sentimental scenes where characters are having a heart-to-heart and there's sappy music playing in the background. While, as I mentioned, Billy Crystal's role is a slight change of pace for him specifically, the story itself, when the movie's even focusing on it, felt very by the numbers. There aren't any surprises. Overall, this movie was fine. It doesn't do anything out of the ordinary in terms of plot, and there are even times where it won't even bother to focus on the story. Instead, it'll just be scenes of characters joking around and having a good time and doesn't have much bearing on anything else. Though, that's not totally a bad thing. It's still a decent watch, mainly thanks to the charm and chemistry of Ben Schwartz and Billy Crystal. So, seeing them work together, plus the humor, is what carries this thing. It may not be anything special, but it's also not a bad time. Standing Up, Falling Down gets a 6.5 out of 10. So let me know, did you see Standing Up, Falling Down, or are you planning to see it, and what were your thoughts? Did you find it funny? Did you enjoy the performances? And what's one of your favorite Billy Crystal or Ben Schwartz movies? Let me know in the comments below, and for more movie reviews and film discussion, please make sure to hit that subscribe button to stay updated. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'll catch you next time.